bits and pieces and make sure I understand them and follow them. Because now that I have experience as editors, I know how important editors, regards on all this. I have set up the guide for authors, the guidelines for you as an editors. You want to submit paper to this journal. If you didn't follow my guidelines, meaning you don't respect this journal, right? It's some silly, simple thing I ask you. Let's say I ask you to make sure that your abstract does not exceed 150 words, and you don't follow. You put 200 words, meaning you don't read my guide for authors. Then you are expecting you're expecting the us to publish your to accept your papers. That's not right, right? So in that case, the chances of rejecting your papers, of course, is high. You get what I mean, right? So always check the guide for authors. And yes, I have highlight some of these things that are very important that you need to check. The length of manuscript. Okay, let's say normally a journal will accept. Let me see if I've got this right. A typical journal in Elsevier, they will accept about 6,000 words for a research manuscript and 10,000 words for review articles. So, and some they are very strict on the length of the manuscript. So if you didn't follow this, you send your paper and then you just think that, hey, let's just hentam, let's try. Okay. But your paper, you know, like sometimes when you submit to that journal, they have screening. They will screen based on these requirements. If you didn't fulfill this requirement, you will get desk rejection, meaning that rejection without review at all. Then you waste your time. Okay? So it's always worth to look at the guide for authors and check properly. There could be a word limit for abstract, word limit for conclusion. Conclusion, I've seen some journals in my field, it cannot be more than 150 words. While some of us, when we write conclusion, we also like to add some future studies inside, or then make it longer, 300, 500 words. Then you got rejected if you submit to a journal with a word limit for conclusion. And also the number and the format of figures and tables. This most probably nowadays, Elsevier journals, they have a hidden requirement that they don't like a paper with too many figures and tables. Maximum is 9. I mean, from an editor point of view, maximum is 9. So you put 12 figures, or maybe 10 figures and 3 tables, 13 in total. Then that gives me a reason to, as an editor, to reject it. Okay? Reference. Oh, this is very important. Nowadays, we have all this software like Mendeley, EndNote, those softwares that can actually help to make sure that you do your reference, display your reference in the correct format according to the journal. So we expect as an editor that you follow this format. I have known some editors, friends, when they receive articles, a manuscript, they will not look at anything. They will just pick 2 or 3 references and look and check whether you follow the format. If you didn't follow, I reject. I mean, you cannot blame the editors. Why? Okay, let me just share some experience with you. I can just pick, let's say, Journal of Hazardous Material. I mean, I used to hear from my friends, they're saying that every week they receive, the number of papers that they receive could go up to 1,000 to 1,500 papers per week. Okay? So imagine the number of papers that editors they need to look at and to access. So do you think they have a lot of time to go through your whole papers? So what they normally do is they will reject more than they will consider. Okay? So don't give them the reason to reject your papers. So reference format is one thing that they will use it to reject your papers. So make sure you follow the guideline. Okay? And some journals, they have make it compulsory that you include the highlights, the 5 points, not more than 85 characters, including the spacing. Okay? Again, I can memorize all these things. So you may submit your papers with the figures, tables, and everything, but you forgot to submit highlights, then I may reject your papers. So that's why I always stress the importance of checking the guide for authors to make sure that you follow the guidelines. Okay? Right. Attend conferences. So some of you may wonder, what's the use of attending conferences other than just presenting a paper and then present for 5 minutes and maybe 10 minutes, then that's it. Then you go away from that conference. To me, attending conferences is very important. Okay, why it is important? If you attend the conferences in the right way, so these are the opportunities that you will get. You will get sometimes when you submit your abstract, if you write your abstract well, your abstract could be recommended to be submitted to a special issues of journal straight away. Okay, so that's one thing. And in the conferences, I always volunteer myself to talk to others. Otherwise, I'm so boring. So I need to find somebody to talk to. So I talk to a lot of people. So you may, who knows, you may talk to and make friends with researchers who is editors or experts. Okay, I show two pictures here. So this is one of this is the time where I attend one of the conferences in KL. Okay, so during the conferences, I think there was a lunch break or something. So we need to have lunch, right? So I happened to saw this, this old researcher, looks like a Korean, something like that. I saw he's sitting alone on this table, and I have nothing to do. So I go and see I'm still wearing the same clothes. So I went there and just said, hey, can I join you together and then just to have a chat? And out of surprise, he said, okay, he also needs to talk to somebody as well. And after we talk, we become friends. And he happened, then only I know he's the editor of one of the journal, Korean Journal of Chemical Engineering, Q2 journals. And after I come back from the conference, I think on the third day, I received an invitation to submit a paper to that journal. So that's how interesting it is. And